Well, once again, the Trossachs Rally has become the crucial event of the Scottish Rally Championship, and over the next few hours the championship itself will be decided through the surrounding forests. But undoubtedly the star of the show this year is this, the truly amazing Metro 6R4, four-wheel drive, 3-litre machine, which today will be in the hands of the current Scottish champion, Ken Wood. But before this car and the 120 others who are taking part actually get going, there's a great deal of work to be done. After 8 rounds beginning last February, the leadership of the Scottish Rally Championship was still unsettled. Only 2 men had any real chance of the title. Murray Grierson from Dalbeattie was leading the table, but under rally rules he must deduct his lowest score. Once he'd done that, George Marshall, the agricultural engineer from St Boswell's, was actually the favourite. But if either of them failed to finish, the title could go to Gordon Smith or David Galanders. Well, George, what are your chances? I'm told you are the favourite, really.
I think there's 2 favourites here now, because Murray Grierson at the moment is in a very good chance at toppliness anyway. I think and Gordon Smith can't be ruled out either. But I mean, if we finish within the first 5 today, we should just about scrape in.
I can't beat George unless he has quite a lot of trouble today. George has to be 5 places, full 5 places behind me, and that would be very unlikely unless he has a lot of trouble.
So really it's not what you do, it's what George does.
It's not what I do today. I must try and get to the finish and consolidate the position that I'm in. George, if he has a steady run and finishes anywhere within 5 points of me today, then he's won.
Well, we've had problems before, and it's a funny old game this, like. I mean, you can have problems again, punctures, things like that. You can never tell. We've plodded along the Scottish Championship all year, had some good results and some very bad ones. But I mean, this can salvage something for the year now. I mean, obviously we want to win.
But would the Metro overshadow the championship itself? Ken Wood's car is the first production model to go to a private driver and was very much an unknown quantity, even to the driver.
This is the ultimate rally car, this type of thing, 4-wheel drive.
Once it's completed, once you do all the work for next season, somebody told me that it's actually going to have the performance virtually of a Formula 1 racing car.
Apparently they can do nothing of 60 in less than 3 seconds. I hate to think what that's going to be like.
You're not planning to do that in the forest, though?
Well, I wouldn't think so, no.
But how does the car differ from the Rover you've been driving? Obviously it's a completely different car.
Completely different. The Rover was a gentleman's car. Even in rally trim it was a pleasure to drive. This thing is really tight and twitchy, and the gear change, a wee short gear change on it, it'll take a bit of getting used to that. So if there's a lot of fluff gear changes today, you'll know what the problem is.
But you're obviously looking forward to it.
Tremendous. I'm really looking forward to finding out. I'm just hoping that the start of the first stage, at least got a half-mile straight at the start, so that we get a wee bit of practice before we come to a corner.
So, after all the talking, time for the fun to begin. And waving away the first car, sponsor Bruce Lyle, himself a former rally driver. Leading the field in a Works Vauxhall Astra, borderer Andrew Wood giving the car a run before the RAC rally later this month. And in the Metro, co-driver Peter Brown was also looking forward to gauging the car's performance. George Marshall's co-driver Lynn Jenkins got his paperwork finalised. And after the summer rain, the Trossachs forests were now dry, and in the Achray forest near Aberfoyle, Andrew Wood was the first to test the conditions. Ken Wood was treading carefully as he guided the Metro through its first angry drive. George Marshall had already decided to take a steady pace, going for a finish and the championship, rather than go for a win, which could end in disaster. But Murray Grierson had no such thoughts. He had to win to take the title, and he put the pressure on from the very first stage. David Galanders had trouble earlier in the season with the big Volvo, which can be a cumbersome beast in the narrow forest tracks, but he was now in control for most of the time. Co-driving for Campbelltown fisherman Tom Finn, Jonathan Lord, one of the men behind the Scottish Rally, got a close look at some of the stages from the competitors' viewpoint. But while the early cars were already on their way, the rest of the 120 entries were still waiting to go. And among them, and lucky to be there, John Gray from Carnwath.
Last Thursday night we started the engine up to put it in the garage, and the first washer came out and went into the oil pump, and it all jammed up, so we had to remove the engine to repair it. So we took it up to Gem Engineering, and they repaired all the engine for us. So we got on all right after that. I think it was Monday night we started rebuilding the engine, and Tuesday night we had it going, so that was it.
Sounds like an awful lot of work.
Well, it was 12 o'clock every night last week trying to get it ready.
It's the sort of thing you can do without, I suppose, as well.
Yeah, well, the money as well, that's the cost to repair it was quite a lot. So. But we're here, so that's the main thing.
Now, you are very much an enthusiastic amateur, if you don't mind me saying so. Yes, how difficult is it for you to find the resources to put into rallying?
Oh, you get your wages in one week and you put them out the next week.
It's as simple as that, is it?
That's it, yeah.
But the jinx stayed with him. On the very first stage, the cam belt jumped off and the Escort's valves and pistons were ruined, creating even more work and expense and a premature end to his rally. The cars then took a long drive south to the Carron Reservoir in the Campsies, and already the Metro had carved out a substantial lead. George Marshall had increased his pace to try to keep up, but not always with success. Murray Grierson was working hard behind the wheel of his former works Escort, while Gordon Smith was hard on his heels, looking for the leaders to make a mistake. Top newcomer Jimmy Girvan was matching Grierson's times. Back at Aberfoyle, and for the first time in the Trossachs Rally, the service crews had a permanent base. Instead of following the cars, the route was designed to take the cars back there for two 15-minute service halts.
Usually they sit in the car park all day, usually you're on the move most of the time, but just we rally like this, stuck here all day.
And you enjoy that?
Oh yeah, good fun.
I suppose everybody has to do their own little bit towards what you might achieve at the end of the day.
But it must be very frustrating, isn't it, when you're working on the car and you don't actually see very much of what it's doing?
It does compared with what it used to be. I mean, it used to be able to got used to every stage. Stand at the end of the stage, wait the car come through and run up the road. Wasn't needing anything, move on to the next stage, but they've stopped all that nowadays.
Yeah.
Quietly a lot.
Pleasure we get is seeing them get, over the finish line at the end of the rally, and it's had a good day.
After 3 stages, the Metro was still in charge, but Kenwood's namesake Andrew wasn't far behind. They were almost in an event of their own. Their nearest challenge, almost half a minute behind, came from Tom Muir of Kirkcaldy. Only seconds separated the next 3 drivers.